Alright, time for the solutions for the benchmark 3 constructor response practice. This is all like none of that multiple choice stuff. You gotta actually put the work down on this to get the points. Anyway, the front page is all just transforming graphs, well, transforming functions. So if you got a transformation like f of x plus 2, you're gonna start out with your original one and move it up to, notice the plus 2 is outside parentheses, so it's a vertical change, and it's plus 2, so it's a vertical shift. Every single one of these points is going up 2 in the y, but all the x's stay the same. And so when you're graphing it, you just take all your points, put them 2 higher than they used to be, and you got your new transformed function connected up. So your answer should be this red guy. Oh, whoops. I messed up on the original. This should be over 1 more point. Yeah, it should be right there. But anyway, you get the idea. Is you just take everything, move it up 2 points, and you got your new graph. Moving on to the next one. This one's got to change inside the parentheses, which is going to change the x values. And it says x minus 3. And typically, minus 3, the x's mean you move everything left. But with transformations, it's kind of the opposite. You're going to add 3 to all the x values. So you can take all these points and move them right 3 spots, 3 x values. So this guy here is going to go right 3. All of them are going to go right 3 of where they used to be. And remember, you're going to start with your original one. Don't do the previous one right 3. You're going to take your original and move it right 3. Blam. And ta-da, we have our new guy. Your new one should look like the red guy here that I just drew, and that's B. Moving on to the table. So this one, you're filling in the table, but doing your transformation. It's just like the graph, except you just got the numbers, you just got the points, and you're going to change those. You don't even have to draw them. And so, if you're trying to do a change here, you need to have your original table. I just copied it down for reference, but it's the one that's at the top there. And this -3 out front says you can take all your y values and times it by -3. Notice outside parentheses changes the y's, changes the function values. So all my x's are going to be the same as they were. So -7, -5, -2, 2, 5, and 7. And we're going to take all our x values and times them by -3. -5 times -3 is 15. -2 times -3 is 6. -2 times -3 is 6. 2 times -3 is -6. You're going to get -6 and -15. And that's done. Moving on to the back side, you had to get h of 1 or h of 2. But neither of these graphs here is h. This one's f, this one's g. And you had to use them to figure out what h of 1 is. So if you want to get h of 1, on this first one you had to get f at 1 and divide by g of 1. In order to get those, you have to go to the f graph, and you go where x is 1, and you find the height of your graph there. That height right there is 3, so f of 1 is 3. G of 1, well, you go where x is 1, and find out that the g is 3 tall, so the function value at 1 is 3, and that gives you just 1. For 2, you had to get h of 2, and so in order to get h of 2, you had to get both g of 2 and f of 2. Notice how this one's a different a different operation with the functions. I gotta get g of 2 and subtract f of 2. Well, g of 2, I need to go where x is 2 and find how tall the function is. That function is 5 tall, so f of 2 is going to be 5. I need to subtract g of 2 is 5. I have to find out what f of 2 is, so I go where x is 2, go up to where my function is. It is 7 tall, so I need to do 7 for f of 2. 5 minus 7 gives me -2, and that's my answer for B. I already did B. C, I need to get h of 0, and h is f times g, so if I want to get h of 0, I need to get f of 0, and I need to times that by g of 0. Well, in order to get f of 0, I need to go to my graph, right here where x is 0, that's the y-axis. Well, f is 1 tall, so f of 0 is 1. I'm going to have to times by whatever g of 0 is. I go to g. At 0, it's 1 tall, so I'm going to get 1 times 1, which is just going to give me 1. On this last one, I need to get h of negative 1, and h is equal to f plus g. So if I wanted to get h of negative 1, I had to get f of negative 1, and I had to add g of negative 1. Well, to get f of negative 1, I need to go to my f graph, where x is negative 1. That's right there. And my graph is actually 0 tall. The y value there is 0, so f of negative 1 is 0. And I'm going to have to add g of negative 1. So go to my g function, where x is negative 1. My graph is negative 1 tall, so g of negative 1 is negative 1. 0 plus negative 1 is negative 1, and that one is done, and that is the entire assignment.